In the late 18th century, a new wave of technological, socioeconomic, and cultural revolutions began to influence the rapid shift of economies once dominated by largely rural and agricultural production. This period of time, now known as the Industrial Revolution, played a vital role in shaping the way our global economic system works today. Goods that had previously been crafted by hand were starting to be produced in some of the first factories with the aid of new machinery like the cotton gin. The introduction of improved transportation methods like the railroads and steam-powered vehicles allowed producers to expand their consumer markets well beyond their immediate base and efficiently ship their goods to different markets around the globe. These innovations shaped the way our businesses operate and the way our cities were designed, as the need for a larger workforce for factories drove the need for denser urban populations. Buildings were built higher and more closely together in order to accompany the housing demand, creating a synergistic growth between city expansion and industrial technology development. Since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution, production of and transportation logistics for consumer goods have continued to evolve into the industrial complex that we know today. And because this sector is so important to the framework of our society, industrial real estate is some of the most valuable property that you can own. Now let's define industrial real estate. Industrial real estate can be broadly defined as all land and buildings which accommodate industrial activities, including production, manufacturing, assembly, warehousing, research, storage, and distribution. There are usually specific areas within each city designated for industrial properties on a zoning map, which describe where these spaces can be constructed and operate so that the activity on these sites does not disrupt businesses or residences that might have otherwise been adjacently placed. These zoning ordinances get even more specific, defining where certain industrial activities can and can't take place. Many different facets of the industrial sector, and because this definition covers a wide scope of properties, it's important to recognize the differences in each type of industrial property before determining which one to invest in so that you fully understand the risks and rewards that each one carries. Now let's talk about different class types of industrial. For any commercial building, there will be a class grade attached to it. Class A, Class B, Class C, stay away from Class D or F or anything like that. It's important to consider which class will make the most sense for your investment, as some of these assets are more likely to see capital appreciation, whereas others will be better suited, rather, for capital preservation. Of course, your return on investment will be influenced by a variety of factors associated with the property that you purchase, but identifying these differences in these classifications may help you narrow your focus as you move forward in the process. Class A buildings typically represent the newest and best quality structures that exist in the market. The industrial assets built today are made of high quality materials and feature amenities like taller ceilings and top-of-the-line mechanical and utility systems. Because these spaces are the cream of the crop, they usually have high income earning tenants with low vacancy rates. These top-of-the-line industrial properties provide investors with the security that there are very few outstanding issues that will require them to invest further into their asset. Class A properties are usually priced high with lower cap rates associated with them, especially if they're fully leased. But these Class A assets carry far less risk to investors and can be a great option for someone looking to preserve capital or passively invest in other cases. Class B properties are usually older buildings, but can also be somewhat newer without all of the bells and whistles. Rental income is typically lower than rates that Class A owners will see. However, Class B buildings are oftentimes well maintained. So investors can view these assets as value add opportunities, as they can sometimes be converted into A or B plus class buildings through renovations and improvements. In this tier of Class B industrial properties, it is sometimes easier to find an attractive deal because these assets are viewed as a higher risk to buyers due to potential vacancy issues and structural issues. Class B properties can be a great option for an investor who is looking to immediately cash flow and sit on their asset while the land appreciates if the property is in a desirable location. Some industrial real estate is now being rezoned into multifamily or mixed-use sites in order to increase city density. So an investor with knowledgeable foresight could actually make a good guess as to whether their industrial property will fall into this category and be in the path of development. Class C properties are buildings that are usually 20 or more years old, have multiple deferred maintenance issues, and are sometimes located in less desirable areas. These buildings typically bring in the lowest rental rates in the market, which makes passive investment opportunities less available. For the investor that is willing to put in the time, money, and creativity, Class C industrial industrial properties can be converted into higher value assets with some significant renovations and updates and create significant upside if executed correctly. They can also be fantastic opportunities for an owner-user type of business because the improvements that you make not only help your business, but also add to the value of the property that you already own. Now for industrial location and logistics. Industrial tends to desire sites that afford the greatest profitability at the lowest cost by ensuring that the costs of production, overhead, and distribution are at an absolute minimum. The well-known saying, location, 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 has always played a huge role in the efficiency of an industrial business's operation. As e-commerce continues to expand, a new phrase, logistics, 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 is now the approach that many businesses are applying to their search for industrial real estate. Distance and location are now being paired with travel time and traffic congestion analysis to determine how logistically efficient their sites are in terms of being able to receive goods from their suppliers and then ship them to their consumer base. Now let's move on to foreign investment in industrial real estate. Historically, foreign investment into the American commercial real estate markets has been largely geared towards multifamily, office, retail, and hotel properties. But as of recent, there has been an incredible increase in the industrial real estate sector of foreign investment. Overseas investors from Canada, China, Germany, and others are seeing higher yields on their returns from investing in U.S. industrial real estate. According to a study done by CBRE, $14.4 billion of industrial real estate was purchased from overseas investors, which accounts for a 152% increase from the previous year. The top 3 markets they're investing in are Los Angeles, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Chicago, but other markets such as those in Atlanta and New York are also seeing cross-border investment. There are a variety of factors that make foreign investment attractive to those overseas. Although it is not completely perfect, our legal system is one of the most stable systems in the world. The checks and balances in place provide foreigners with a notion that less corruption exists and that there is more fairness in litigating business dealings. In some other parts of the world, laws can change at the flip of a coin, which could potentially be very disastrous to an investor. Our liquidity and size of the economy also play a large role in the allure of U.S. property to overseas investors. When ready to liquidate a piece of property, investors are able to sell their assets typically within a matter of months, of course if it's priced right, thanks to the size of our economy and the number of specialized connected brokers in our system. As the industrial sector continues to expand in America, we will likely continue to see foreign investment play a large role in the acquisition and development of industrial real estate in the United States. So what is driving the demand for industrial real estate? Well, industrial has been growing for decades, but with the rise of 3D printing and the adoption of robotics in manufacturing, jobs that were previously done by hand are now being completed by automated systems, which significantly cut labor costs and drive the demand for industrial real estate. Because the need for human labor is decreasing in manufacturing plants, more companies are looking to bring their operations back to the US, where they will be able to produce their goods at lower costs. Trade deals and foreign policy are also influencing businesses to bring back their manufacturing to the US, where their operations can enjoy more economic stability and offer more jobs to the US labor force. E-commerce also continues to boom as traditional brick and mortar retail is seeing declines in sales from consumers shifting their shopping preferences online. Companies like Amazon are now able to ship their products directly to consumers in some metropolitan areas in a matter of hours. Almost every major retailer has an online component now, and as technology develops, more of these large companies are cutting out the middleman and are handling their operations from the inside, which is creating a larger demand for industrial space. So why should you invest in industrial real estate? Well, there are many avenues of industrial, and buying these types of properties can be one of the most profitable ways to invest your money. As compared to the over-concentrated residential market, not only are industrial properties easier to find, but they are much less of a hassle to deal with as an owner. Industrial properties require much less maintenance, and industrial businesses tend to sign long-term leases in order to keep their businesses running smoothly, which results in steady, long-term income to help pay off a mortgage on the building. Vacancy rates are also very low right now, meaning that if there is a turnover, it shouldn't take long to find a new tenant. But that also means that it will be easy to liquidate your asset should you ever want to sell it. There's almost always a business or investor looking to purchase industrial buildings. And unlike residential property, it is not necessary to make repairs or improvements to your building in order to sell it because the real estate market is not saturated with other similar properties. So there you have it for a quick dive into industrial real estate. If you're looking to buy more properties and need to learn how to raise capital, check out this video here.